We are live, YouTube. We are live. Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all, let me make sure. There we go. Y'all know I'm a one woman show. I say this every morning. I have to make sure I'm live. I have to make sure that I'm just not talking to this doggone here microphone and not being recorded. So I have to check it. Listen, hello and welcome to another day of getting to self-actualization, the series. I am Yashika Foster, and you are watching Hood Parenting on my little part of the world on YouTube, right? My little part of the social, my little part of the social, the World Wide Web, YouTube. Hood Parenting. Hello and welcome. I am a life strategist and self-actualization coach. And if this is your first time here, come in and say hello and welcome. Leave a message, leave a note, like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, right? Let somebody know that you feel that needs to hear this particular lesson. And we are in the Getting to Self-Actualization series. Now, I believe we are in day 26. Okay. At least, you know what? I'm gonna get me a new chair eventually. I'm gonna get me a new chair eventually because either that or I need to tighten up these bolts because every time I move, it makes noise. Okay. Well, anyway, let me calm my ADHD down. Listen, y'all. I think we are on day 26, which means if this is correct, we only have 2 more days to go. Okay. But because you do not have to watch this series in order, I was kind of confused about what day we on. And so I will have to go back and count to make sure because I had everything laid out, but then there were times where I missed for like the 4th of July weekend and things like that. So I had to move everything back a day or two. And so because of that, all right, here we are. And then one day I had a procedure, a surgery. So I definitely wasn't going live that day. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, y'all, welcome to another day of getting to self actualization. And today we are talking about you're not behind, you are being built. You are being built. You are not behind. When I thought about this particular live today, the first thing I thought about was how I felt as a young woman. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that men don't feel the burden of getting older or anything like that, or having certain time frames in which they have to hit a certain mark or a certain age in which they have to hit a certain mark. Okay. Because let me tell you something, when I think about it, if a woman is in her 30s, or let's just say she hit 30, 31, 32, and she's not a mother, she's not a wife, people start asking her those questions. Now, I'm not saying they don't ask men those questions, but I noticed that they will ask women that question sooner and more often if they're unwed or if they don't have any children by the time they're in their 30s. But men, it's just like, okay, well, you know what? Play on, player. That's how they do men. You know what? Play on, player. I don't blame you. You know, stay single as long as you want to. That's what I hear people say to men. That's what I hear to people say to men that are single, no children, anything like that by the time they're 30, but not women. Now, this leads me to believe that women, and again, I'm not saying that it's everybody. I'm not saying it's all women, just like I'm not saying that all men are not a part of this. But what I am saying is that this is why this leads me to believe that this is something that women suffer from the most, feeling that they're behind in terms of being a wife, in terms of being a mother, in terms of career, things like that, right? And so let's get real. Who told you that healing had a deadline? Because when you are getting to self actualization, if you are still healing from certain things, or you are still adjusting to certain things in life that has happened, or learning to live with certain things that has happened, sometimes that will halt, or should I say pause, your building phase, if that makes sense, right? Your building phase. So if your building phase, like for example, say that you are I don't know, let's just say that, like, for example, when I'm in college, right? When I was in college, when I was in the military. Now, a regular college student can go to school, you know, and this is presumably, we're not saying all, we're saying usually a regular college student can go to college, get a degree, in about 4 years, right? Get a bachelor's degree in about 4 years, 3.5, depending. Um, and they can do it if they do it consistently. Okay. Now, because I was military and because I had deployments and I had life and I had all the things that go on with being an active duty soldier, for me to set my pace at 4 years to get a bachelor's degree was totally asinine. Like, there's no way that I could have done that. I don't care how many times. I mean, listen, because first of all, I can't go to school full time. Okay, I can't go to school full time. I can't have a full schedule. What is that? Four to five classes a term or something like that a semester. I can't do that. I'm lucky to get two. If I get two, I'm stressed the heck out. You could believe that if I had two courses while I was in the military and going to college, I was stressed out. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, for me to put a timeline on my degree wouldn't have been appropriate. Why? Because things happen, things that are out of my control that happen. Then on top of that, because of my life, I couldn't put it in. And so therefore, there was no deadline on when to finish my bachelor's degree or any of my degrees, except for my last one, because I wanted to have that one done before I retire. However, there was no timeline. Why? Because I understood that I had things that I had to take care of. I understood that there were things that had priority over me getting my education at that time, right? It's not that it wasn't important. It's just that putting food on the table and being able to pay for these classes, things like that was important. Okay. You got to be able to work. You got to work. You maybe do those things. All right. So those things were more important. So when you're healing, look at it in that same way. Look at your healing in the same way when it comes to deadlines. If there's deployments, if there's situations you can't do it full time because of whatever reason, it's going to hinder. So if you're healing, there's no way you can put a deadline on something or feel that you have a expiration date, or that your purpose has an expiration date, right? Or that your joy is you got to get it together before you're 30, right? Don't believe that. Don't let anybody box you in believing that. Now, is this to say that you should not have a goal or an intention, or I would like to? Okay. I would like to have been like a multi-millionaire before I was 50. I'm 52, and I can tell you I am not a multi-millionaire. Okay. That's it. Now, am I still reaching for that goal? Will I accomplish that goal? Yes, and hell yes to both of those, right? Yes, and hell yes. But at the same time, I didn't do it by the time I was 50. And so it's like, okay, I had a plan, because then that way it gave me purpose. It gave me something to reach for. Now I would adjust. I don't hold it against myself that I didn't do that. But at the same time, I keep on saying, okay, Ashika, how can you improve this? How can you get better? How can you still do it at the earliest part possible? Simply because it was a goal for myself. That's it. That's all. But it doesn't negate anything I've accomplished. It doesn't negate the things that I have accomplished, or the things that I have done, or the value that I have provided in terms of financial gain, right? So remember this: comparison is the thief of peace, and shame is the slow leak that drains your power. So if you are comparing yourself to other people, and not only that, but if you shameful because you feel like you didn't do certain things by certain things, then understand that that's going to drain your power, because now you're going to minimize yourself all the time because you don't want to be too loud. Because you're like, no, if I be too loud, or if I say too many things, they're going to notice that I didn't do this over here. Who cares about that? Ain't nobody keeping up with your timeline but you. Go out and do what you're supposed to do. Okay. You're not behind, you're being built. You're not late, you're learning. You're unlearning, you're rebuilding from the inside out. Because part of this is actually unlearning some things that we learned along the way that actually stagnate our growth, or stagnate our healing, or stagnate us being built, because we were holding on to things that did not belong to us, things that belong to other people, that put us in boxes, or boxed us into situations that we didn't even understand why we were in them. We didn't understand why we were in them. And then on top of that, because we were in these boxes, or we were trying to meet these goals, we did things right because we wanted to hurry up and do them. When I think about this, I think about me getting married at 18. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The first time I got married, I was 18. By the time I married my first husband, he and I had been dating for about maybe a year and a half, give or take. Okay. Now, at the time of our marriage, I was 18, he was 22. When we started dating, I was 17, he was 21. Now, for me, it made sense to get married at 18. I'm grown. I'm in the military. I'm out of my mama house. Like I'm about to do my thing. I'm about to do my thing. Come on, you going with me? You better come on. Let's get married. So it made sense for me to get married because in my mind, I had the job. I had the beautiful man because Lord knows he was beautiful. He was beautiful. Okay. He was a lot of other things as well, but beautiful was definitely one of them. Okay. I had this beautiful man, 6'3", 6'4", whatever, curly hair, brown complexion, just beautiful. Okay. There's no way I wasn't gonna marry that man. I didn't care how he was. Okay. I should have cared, but I didn't. But I wanted to check the block on what I thought I was supposed to do in life. Right. I'm doing this. I got a career. Right. I'm in the military. Now I got a husband. Now check. Now let's go have the baby next. Check. Because that's what I thought I was supposed to do because I didn't want to be old having kids. I didn't want to be old. And when I say old, we're talking 30. I said that 30. I remember with my second son, I got pregnant at 30 with him. And it was right before my 30th birthday, to be honest. I mean, to be exact, I found out that January that I was pregnant and I turned 30 that March. And so I remember telling my husband at the time that if I was pregnant before I was 30, I wasn't having no more babies because in my mind, 30 was old. 30 was old to be having a baby. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, but by the time he's 16, 17, whatever, I'm going to be too old. My baby will be 22 in a couple of weeks, and I'm 52. And I feel like that was the perfect time. So while I was thinking about all that bullcrap earlier, I don't know. Why I thought that getting married at 18 was the best ideal of my life, I don't damn know. I don't know. But what I do know is that I was living somebody else's idea of what I supposed to do. Most of the women in my family, like my mother and her sisters and them, they all got married before they were like between the age of, my mother got married at 16. I got an aunt got married at 18. Other got married at 18. Who else? Let me see. I out of six aunties, I had two that didn't get married. Okay. And then excuse me, out of six girls, two didn't get married. The other four did. And out of the four, my mother was the youngest that got married at 16. And I think I got an auntie that got married at 19. However, everybody else was between 16 and 19. And so in my mind, that's what I was supposed to do. My grandmother got married. She was married, I think, twice by the time she was 19. Or no, she got married at 18, got pregnant by 19, and something like that. Okay. So in my mind, that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to get married. But was that my time frame or was that somebody else's time frame? Okay, because we're not in the 1950s and 1960s anymore. We're in 2025. Okay, even in the 1990s, we wasn't in the 60s, but I thought, we supposed to do it that way. Why? Because I was thinking about what people told me. Okay, because I didn't even know what it meant to pick out a husband. Okay, I didn't even know what it meant to pick out a husband. Can you get those years back? Get those years back. I don't know who need to hear that, but you can't get those years back. So pick wisely. Pick wisely. You cannot get those with years back. Okay. All right. Ask yourself, where did I adopt the belief that I'm falling behind? What timeline am I trying to keep up with? And who does it really belong to? Because I know for a fact that me believing that I needed to be married and have a kid and do all these things by a certain age was not my timeline. And I don't think, and you know what? I can't even blame it on something that someone told me. Meaning that I'm not going to sit up here and say that in my family it was told you got to do this, you got to do that, because that no one said that. This was my own idea. This was my own assumption about what the way life is supposed to be or the way it's supposed to be. Like I thought this is what you're supposed to do. Like we watch the fairy tales, we read the fairy tales, we watch the movies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Straight out, and for me, I wasn't going to college right away. So, okay, most people get married straight out of college or something. That wasn't me. I had to figure it out before because I wasn't going to college right away. Okay. So my timeline, I adjusted for me. Now, was it the best timeline? Well, I got my sons. I got my two beautiful sons out of each husband. I had a son. So yes. And to get them, I'll do it all over again. But okay. You're in the construction phase of your life. Understand that. Think about it like this. If a building is still under construction, you don't judge it for not being finished, right? You understand that it's a process. So why not give yourself that same grace? So if you know that you are still being built, right? No matter what age you are and you feel like you're behind or anything like that, think about it from that way. When you look at a building, you don't say, well, you know what, shame on that building because it ain't finished being built yet. Shame on that building. That building was supposed to have been done, finished. I don't know when. I don't know when. When did the construction plan say it was going to be done, finished? Okay, because sometimes they got to push it back. I know for a fact because even over here in where I live at, we were supposed to take over the HOA. We were supposed to take over the HOA, the association for the home warranty. Listen, they told us that by the time they had got 80% complete, I think that was the number. It's been a couple of years that they was going to let us take over. Okay. Now, this was like 2017, 18, something like that. Come 2020, they pushed it back. Why? Because they decided that 80% was no more because they had bought more land. So now that 80% became more. We didn't take over until like what, 2021, 2022? It might have been 2023. I don't remember. But what I do know is that timelines are pushed back because things happen. And so when you think about it from that perspective, that's the same way you should look at your life. Nothing is a straight shot. You can't say, okay, by the time I'm 30, because I've been and done this, these things that happen. No, there's a whole bunch of cuts and turns and wrong ways and redirecting and reverses and uno reverse, double reverse, reverse again, and draw forward and draw two. Like it's so many things you got to go through. Ain't no straight line. So to give yourself a time frame, to have an idea, that's one thing. But to say, okay, if I don't, then I'm shameful or I'm this or I'm that or I'm listening to other people. No, that's not how you're supposed to live your life. Nope, don't live your life like that. Every delay, every detour, every closed door is building something in you. All right. It's building patience, it's building discernment, capacity, and character. So every time you look at yourself and say, okay, I'm not moving at the speed that I wanted to, you are learning something in that moment. You are getting something from that moment. You have to decide because, see, here's the thing. I know this thing is that I love to say. If you want to hear God laugh, tell me your plan, or whoever you believe in, or whatever you believe in, whatever higher power you believe in. If you want to hear them laugh, tell me your plan. So when you think about the things that you are going to do at a certain age, were those your ideas? It's okay to say, you know what, I want to have this mark on the wall. Like I said, I wanted to be a multimillionaire before I was 50, and now I'm 52, and I am not a multimillionaire. Okay. That was a mark on the wall. I made that decision for myself at 43, I think 40 or 43. I made that decision. So that I had either 10 or 7 years to get myself to this multi-million dollar mark. Now, I didn't make it to the multi-million dollar mark by the time I was 50. But trust me when I tell you, there were a lot of things that I learned so that now when I do have a new plan, because I don't go 5 years and say, well, you know what I'm going to do by the time I'm 55. Nope. What I do is I just extend it every year. Okay. So now I'm 52. I'm still not a millionaire. So I'm going to extend it until I'm 53. All right. That's it. I'm not adding 10 years to it. I'm not doing that. 53. And then if I don't do it by the time I'm 53, then 54. You see how that go? That's it. That's it. Because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Because if you want to hear God laugh, tell me your plan. All right. But understand this, every delay, every detour, every closed door, you're learning patience, discernment, capacity, and character, no matter what. Being built means there's foundation work happening. Think about that. Being built means that there's foundational work happening. And foundations take time because they're meant to hold weight. So if your foundation is not stable and built really stern, then guess what? It's just like a house of cards. It's going to come crumbling down. So your foundation is being built. All right. It has to be built. It has to be sturdy enough and strong enough to hold whatever's coming your way. So don't rush anything. So today, this is what I want you to do. Practice these things. Write a note to yourself and say this. I am not late. I am being built. Every step I take is on time for my transformation. Let's say that again. I am not late. I am being built. Every step I take is on time for my transformation. And if you have to say that, listen, get yourself some sticky notes. Listen, they got them at the dollar store. Now, I don't know how well they work on the wall because I bought these $1.25 ones, okay? And when I went to hang them on my wall because I was doing some things, they fell down really quick. Okay. However, if you can't go get no more expensive ones at the other store, get the ones at the dollar store for $1.25. Put them everywhere. If you got to put these things everywhere, put a sticky note everywhere to remind yourself whatever you have to say to yourself to motivate yourself, to build yourself, to know that, listen, you got to be the one that pour into yourself. And as I get through this, getting to self-actualization series, you will notice that I say that a lot. You are responsible for filling your cup. You are responsible for being your hype man or woman. Hype me up. Hype me up. It's like a fad going like, hype me up. I hype me up. Like that thing is like the truth. I hype me up. You have to be responsible for hyping yourself up. You have to be responsible for telling yourself, I got this. So if that means putting all what I tell you on a sticky note, if that means saying I am not late, I am being built. Every step I take is on time for my transformation. I don't care if you got to put every word on a single sticky note and put it on your wall in order to hear it. That's what you do. That's what you do. You do whatever you need to do in order to get yourself there, because this life right here, honey, you need all the motivation you can get, and don't expect to get it from anybody else, because everybody is living their own battle. Life is life for everyone. All right. Release the shame, reclaim the pace, because sometimes when we're not where we're supposed to be, shame is there. So you need to release that shame and reclaim your pace. Other words, this is yours. Head now straight forward, like they used to tell us in the military. Head now straight forward. Head now straight forward. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Head now straight forward. All right. Release the shame, reclaim the pace. You don't need to hustle for your worth. You don't need to rush healing to be lovable. You don't need to chase a timeline that wasn't designed for your destiny. Let me say that again, because release the shame, reclaim the pace. You don't need to hustle for your worth. You don't need to rush healing to be lovable. You don't need to chase a timeline that wasn't designed for your destiny. Okay. Self actualization honors divine timing over deadlines. That's what self actualization is, divine timing. Like everything you're doing, your purpose, your problem solving, this person you are, self actualized, Maslow's highest hierarchy of need. You're there, right? Being there, you honor divine timing. There's no way where I'm at right now in my life at 52 that I could have been there at 22 when I heard my first son, or 18 when I married my first husband. There's just no way. Everything happens when it's supposed to. There's things that we have to go through in life in order to get to where we are. And I'm sure that at 52, when I'm 62, 10 years from now, I will be able to say I've learned even more and I'm in a better place as well. Because every level in your life, every age in your life, every stage of your life, there's something else that you learn, that you grow from, that you receive, that you didn't even know you needed. You're like, I didn't know I needed that. I didn't know I liked caviar. I didn't know I liked caviar, right? You didn't know you liked those things until you tried them. And so now that you do, you say, okay, I want to implement this in my life. Okay. So it doesn't matter who got there first. Stay in your lane. You are on assignment, not on a stopwatch. And you remember that. You are on assignment, not on a stopwatch. This is so important when it comes to this. When it comes to you are not behind, you are being built. Remember that. All right, stay in your lane. Doesn't matter who gets there first. You are on assignment, not on a stopwatch. All right, today is your permission slip to breathe. You get to stop and say, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not behind. I'm on time. I'm in process. And I'm being built into something stronger than I've ever been. And say that to yourself. All right. So listen, I don't know who this is for, but I know that this right here was needed. Especially, again, like I say, when I talk to certain people. When I talk to certain people, if you want to hear God laugh, tell them you're playing. I cannot say that enough. All right. So, as we continue on with this getting to self actualization series, again, I believe this is day 26. I'm going to have to go back and count because I believe we're going to be done here with this week. If sometime this week between Friday and Sunday, we will be done with this series. I have to make sure I'm right on my days. And then we will be prepared for the next series that is coming out, which is the art of transformation. And if you are not subscribed here on YouTube or follow me on any of my social platforms, please do so. Because when I tell you that if this series, getting to self-actualization, is something that you say, okay, Ashika, I need this, but I need this over here when I've done these other things, then the art of transformation series will be for you. All right. That is a 21-day series. And I actually go through the steps of how you transform to be the person that you are meant to be if you feel that you are not walking in your truth. And I know there's a lot of us who are living somebody else's truth, doing things because we're doing it for the gram. And I don't mean literally, I mean figuratively as well. In other words, we're doing what we think people, what we supposed to be doing. We're living the life that people think we're supposed to live. You know, we're doing what we're supposed to do, right? We don't want to shake, we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to shake the table, none. We just doing what we think we're supposed to do. So if that is something that you resonate with, then the art of transformation series will be for you, and that will kick off August the 4th, I believe, and that will be coming out soon. And so be prepared for that. And I believe that will be a private series, and so that will have a opt-in, and only clips will be released on Facebook or YouTube. And so I suggest that you get on my mailing list, or DM me, do whatever you need to do in order to catch this art of transformation that kicks off on August the 4th. Okay, so listen, if you are in need of a self-actualization or a life strategist, hit your girl up. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to be talking to me and you're going to be like, you know what, Yashika, I didn't know that I needed a little bit of sprinkles of sunshine and glitter in my life. I didn't know I needed that. I didn't know that I needed a little bit of sunshine and glitter in my life. And so here's the thing, you can do a consultation, of 15 minutes, no obligation consultation. Okay, and stop in and just see if I am the girl for you. But trust me when I tell you, when you meet me, you're going to want to work with me, okay? All right. Trust me when I tell you that. Maybe it's my ego. I got a big ego. Got a big ego. Okay, I'm not Beyonce, okay? Clearly. All right. So, anyway, y'all, I am going to wrap this up so I can get ready and go to my workout. Y'all know I do this series before I work out. And so, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and share this videos to someone that you think needed, someone who you feel is ready to release the shame and reclaim the pace. All right, because they felt that they was behind, and they are actually being built. Okay, I will catch you guys same time tomorrow as we wrap up getting to self-actualization, the series. Bye.